So what I'd like to do today is kind of walk you through the population lab. So right now I'm in the course as a student. I had the lab on the other side, but I kind of want to show you how I got it. So there's a couple ways to get it. You can go into the course materials, content, and then you can click ecology, and then you can click here and then just get to the page until you find it on the sidebar. Right here. That's one way to do it. The way I like to do it is I just go down here to the course resource newsletter and I scroll down until I found the virtual population lab, and it has the handout. So if I click on that, it's going to download and it's going to bring up this little file here. Okay. So this is a virtual lab, so we're going to read the instructions and kind of see what they say. So it says, in this lab, you will visit the Glencoe Population Biology Lab to experiment with 2 different species of Paramecium and examine how they compete for resources. You won't submit a lab report, but a hypothesis, a table, and a graph, and then answer the questions. And then there's a rubric below. So I'm going to click this website. I may have to copy and paste it. And if you don't have Adobe Flash, you're going to need to download that. And you can just Google Adobe Flash. So I'm going to click that I want to allow Adobe Flash. Okay, now here's my lab. Now it says we're going to use the directions in the sidebar of the lab, which is over here on the left. So let's see. Before we start, let's make a hypothesis. Okay, we want to think about how the 2 species of Paramecium will grow alone and how they will grow when they are grown together. So you can write whatever you want. So you'll write your hypothesis here. And usually it's in if-then format. So like if this happens, then this will happen. And that's your hypothesis. Okay. So that's kind of how you'll write it. And then here's our data table. Okay. And we can title this data table whatever we want. You know, maybe wait till after you've kind of done the lab and then you'll have an idea of what you're supposed to do, and then you can come up with your title there. So I'm just going to highlight this. So put it in red and highlight it so you know that you need to do that. And I'll highlight this hypothesis here. Okay. So now let's go to this website and see what it says. So we're going to grow 2 species of protozoan Paramecium alone and together, and then we'll compare the growth curves. Okay. So the first thing it says is click more information to read about Paramecium. Okay. Where would we find that? Oh, here it is. Right here. So this is going to give us information about Paramecium that you can read. Okay. About population growth and competition. Begin the experiment by filling the test tubes with samples from the stock cultures in the flasks. Click the bulb at the top of the pipette to fill the pipette with culture. Then click and drag the pipette to a tube. Fill the test tubes with Paramecium, Aurelia, Paramecium caudatum, or a combination. Note, there's rice in the bottom of the test tube, and this is going to be food for the bacteria, which in turn will be food for Paramecium. The 2 species of Paramecium do not feed on each other. Okay, so I'm going to click this, and I'm going to put it in here. Okay, so I've got P. caudatum in this one. So I'm going to make a note over here that this is test tube 1. Okay, just so I know. And then P. aurelia, I'm going to put in test tube 2. So here I'm going to write test tube 2. And then I'm going to put some of both. In this third one, I'm going to put both. Okay. So this part is test tube 3. And you see they've kind of color coded it for you, which was nice. So now we're going to see what's going on. Click the journal button to open the journal and answer the first analysis question. Okay, your questions are down here. So you're going to sketch the food chain in the test tube, who's eating what. Okay, so you'll have test tube 1, blank is eating blank, which is eating blank. Okay, and then you'll say the same thing for test tube 2 and 3. Okay, so this will be something that you'll write. Okay. Click the microscope on the shelf to go to the lab bench, and then we're going to make wet mounts of the samples. Okay, when we want to clean microscope slides, we'll click clean microscope, and then we'll go from there. Okay. You can hit the table button to record your data. Okay, so they have the same kind of data that we have, the same data table. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so let's click on this microscope and see what it does. Okay, so we're going to make samples from every 2 days. So we want to take a sample on the first day. Click on the clean microscope slides to set up a microscope. Click on the test tube. There we go. There we've got samples for the 3. And then we're going to click on the microscope and put it on the microscope. Okay, so in day 0 we have 1 P caudatum. That's this one little guy. Okay. Now let's move this one. P. aurelia, looks like we've got 2. Let me see what this first one said. Okay, 1. So this number right here is the number that you have. And here you have 3. Okay. And it doesn't say which is which. So we'll just put 3. Okay, let's see what happens if we click on these. Okay, so we'll just go with 3. Oh, maybe that's test tube 3. Yeah. Look at that. That's test tube 3. Okay, so these are the pictures. So P. caudatum is 1. That makes a lot more sense. There's 1 P. aurelia in test tube 2. And then 1 of each. Okay. So now we're going to clear our slides. Now we're at day 2. We're going to get some more clean microscope slides. We're going to make samples. We've got 4 of these little guys in test tube 1. 4 little guys in test tube 2. Wow, we have a whole bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 P. aurelia, the little round ones. And 7 of the little, the longer ones. Okay. So now day 4. Okay, wow, we have a lot of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 of these little guys. Wow, lots of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 18, 19, 25. Okay, let's do the little round ones first. and then we'll do the long ones. 12 of those guys. Okay, now, so here's our little data table. You can fill it in here, and what's neat if you fill it in here is that it will actually draw the graph for you. Okay, I'm not going to do the whole lab for you. I'm just going to do these first few just so you guys kind of get an idea of how it works. Okay. So now we've got this graph, and of course you'll go all the way to day 16, so your graph will be a lot bigger and a lot nicer than mine. Okay, and so you can what I would do with this graph is I would say I wanted to print it, and I would do this, and then I would see how you can save it as a PDF. I would save it as a PDF to your computer, and then upload it with your graph, with your data table. So you'll fill out all the rest of this data table, and then you'll make that graph, and you can just submit the PDF as a separate document when you're submitting it in the Dropbox folder. And then you'll answer these questions. And here's your rubric for the data table, or for this experiment. And so you'll submit this paper right here, this one right here, and then you'll submit this, except your graph is going to go all the way, so it'll look more like this graph. Now this graph is not the correct graph, right? It does not show you the correct data. It's just saying this is a sample, so don't use this as your graph. One, I'll know. Two, it's not right. Okay, so and then you'll be good to go. So that's all you have to do for this lab today. Okay, hopefully this video was helpful. If you have more questions, please feel free to email or text me, and I'll help you with them. Thank you.